Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone. This is Amelia Chapman coming to you live. It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles, 6 o'clock in Chicago, and I'm going to say it's 7 o'clock in Florida because guess what? It's just me today. Mad Dog is not here. He is on vacation, a well-deserved vacation, as a matter of fact. And tonight we come to you live, bringing you today, be a buddy, not a bully. Yeah. I'm going to be bringing you today something that's been close to my heart for a very long time, something that I had to go through as a child, and then, of course, through middle school, where I'm from, it's junior high school, and then, of course, high school. And then, of course, now as an adult, I went through it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have gone through it as well. So I'm here to talk to you about that. So hopefully we can go through it together and discuss, what to avoid from being a bully, from being bullied, actually. And if you are a bully, hopefully that watching this show, that'll teach you some not to be a bully. Because, being bullied, it wasn't very, very good for my ego, good for my soul, as you will, because I grew up very, very different being bullied. And you, the bully, it might think, to you, I'm the bully, I'm the bigger person, haha, going through life. But put yourself in my shoes, put yourself being bullied. Let me tell you something, it's not fun at all. It's not, because the ridicule that a person suffers, the humiliation, the sadness, the part of just going home and looking at yourself in the mirror saying, yeah, I am ugly. I am horrible looking. I am fat or too skinny, or look at my face. I have these ugly pimples, or my hair is too short, or my hair is too long, or why is my hair this color, or why are they making fun of me? My parents tell me that I'm pretty, or why are you saying I'm ugly? Things like that, and then you look at yourself in the mirror and you might be overweight yourself, or you might have the pimples, or I may not have them, vice versa, or you might be the blonde bombshell with the pretty green eyes or the blue eyes, and you might be the person that gets all the boy, for example, if you're the girl making fun of me, you might be the blonde with the blue eyes, or the blonde with the green eyes, or brown, whatever color your eyes may be, doesn't matter. And you're making fun of me, and you might be the one getting all the boys, and everybody likes you. You're the popular girl, but you're making fun of me, and I don't think that's right. I mean, in my case, because you don't know who you're hurting. You don't know what thoughts you're putting into that person's mindset. Because when I grew up in Odessa, Texas, which is just a small town. It's not a big town. But back then, when I was growing up I was born in 1971. I'll give you my age. I don't care. It was the oil boom. And we grew up in a middle-class family and Hispanic family. Yeah, I am. As Angela always says, I'm too light complected to be Mexican. Haha. But we always had food on the table. My parents always made sure. My parents always made sure that we had clothes for the school year. We always made sure we had school supplies. If not, We had people to help us out. Yes, we had free lunch. So what? At least we had that available to us. And I understand a lot of people didn't, but we helped out with the community. We helped out people that didn't. And going to school, I lived right behind Cameron Elementary School. I will tell you where I went. And I met this little girl named Elizabeth. And she and I would walk to school. My mom would watch us, of course, make sure we got to the schoolyard. And she didn't know that I knew, but I did. And every morning, but she would make sure she picked me up from school. She would make sure, because there was too many cars, coming to pick people up. And of course, back then it was still dangerous, as it is more dangerous now. And we would do that for a few months. And me and this little girl, Elizabeth, sometimes she would come and eat breakfast with me, which my mom didn't mind. And then after a while, this little girl named Adrian, she was new to the school. She would come dirty to school all the time, sometimes wearing the same clothes, raggedy hair. It looked like she wasn't showering, but I never made fun of her. Nobody did that I knew of, but if they did, I would defend her. And Elizabeth and her got close like this all the time after that. And I don't know if Adrian didn't like me. I don't know, but my mom always made sure I had my hair combed, clean clothes, and she always made sure that no, stains. But if I, she was so funny because my mom, anytime that I had stains on my clothes, I was like, "Oh my gosh, mom, I'm dirty. I need to change." That's how she always brought me up, which was so funny. And I don't know if that girl Adrian didn't like me because of that, but she wanted to fight me. And I'm like, "I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you." I told my teacher. So Elizabeth got it upon herself that she was going to fight me. And I'm like, "I'm not fighting you. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're wanting to fight me, but I'm not doing that." Well, lo and behold, she fought me. And of course, I didn't win because I don't like to fight. I really don't. So I ended up calling my mom. The school did. And then, of course, they called Elizabeth's mother, and all that came to cross in the principal's office. And I guess they called Adrian's mother, and Elizabeth got in trouble. She got suspended. And then they tried to harm me again. And my mom said, "If anything happens, you come tell me." Well, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to call your mom. You're going to tell your mom. So what?" And I'm like, "So what? I'm not going to be the type of person that's going to harm anyone. I wasn't brought up that way." So in that case, I still had friends, come around me, and they were like, they weren't calling me chicken, things like that. And if they were, that's a schoolyard thing, whatever. I always stayed to myself anyway because I was a loner, and that's just me. I'm a loner, so what? I've always was that way. And then, as you make friends in school and things like that, come the like third, fourth grade, fifth grade, and then there would be like girls like, "Oh, I don't like so and so. I don't like so and so." And then they would say, "Well, do you like so and so person?" And then they would try to make you say that, and it goes to that person. Like, for example, "I don't like Janice." And then you would say, "Well, I don't like Janice either." Well, it goes to Janice, and they say, "I heard you don't like me." And they try to fight you in the schoolyard. Well, they were just trying to see if you were going to say that to get you to fight. But that goes with everything. And that's how it goes. And then I just, we don't know what happened to that girl, Adrian. After that, all of a sudden, she just disappeared. And I hope nothing bad happens because, my mom was always a good kind of person that if she saw, for example, that little girl, Adrian, walking down the road in the rain, she'd pick her up and take her home or take her to as closest to the house as she could because, she was so embarrassed to say, "I live over here." We don't know why. Well, anyway, here comes junior high school, or it's middle school. And here comes these two girls named Norma and a girl named Nancy. And as you know, it just evolved from elementary school to junior high school. And you go through different phases. And here comes choir class. You become, go to a choir. And then you start meeting new people. And then you start becoming friends with I guess they call the jocks, because you go from cheerleader in elementary school to tryouts for your junior high school. And so that's how you become, meeting friends. And that's what I did. And I thought maybe something different maybe will help me, because maybe that's what happened. And then here comes these girls saying, well, look at you, your hair's too straight, or you haven't developed yet. Look at you, and then I had to wear glasses. And then look at you, you're ugly. You're having to wear those yucky glasses. And then I cut my hair because it was all straight. And then look at you, you're just so ugly. You're having to wear those glasses. You just cut your hair to have wings in your hair so you could try to be popular, but you're just so ugly, and your eyebrows, and you don't wear makeup, and all this, the peer pressure. So I would go home. I wouldn't tell my parents, and I'd look in the mirror and I would just start crying. I would just cry every night for seventh grade, because in back in Texas it was K through 6 and then 7 through 9. Well, the first seventh grade, I would cry and say, you know what, why do these girls hate me? I haven't done anything to them. Every year, my mom would buy us good clothes from a place called Ladybug's Fashion. And I would take off my glasses and I'd refuse to wear them, because they would say, oh, you look so ugly with those things. Look at that. They look at bottle caps or poor eyes. And I would take off my glasses and cry in the mirror and say, yeah, I am ugly, aren't I? I'm always going to be ugly. Look at me. I'm ugly. I'm a good for nothing. Just like they said, I'm never going to amount to nothing. That's how I am. I'm never going to amount to nothing. And that's what I thought of myself in the seventh grade. That's what I thought of myself. And I thought, is that how it's going to be this whole school year? Is that how it's going to be? That I'm not going to amount to anything? Is that how it's going to be? And it's just, oh, look at that. We got our first comment, Mr. Captain Miserable. Oh, you love me. I'm adorable. Well, thank you. I love you too. You're so sweet. And I was just, thinking to myself that I wasn't going to amount to anything. And that's how it was the first time. And then all of a sudden, so I thought, well, maybe choir, I would get to do choir. And I mentioned, and so I started singing, doing that, and I got to meet different people. And these girls took me in, but still meeting those other girls, because we had different classes. We had different teachers in every class that we had. So we had to get used to having a different teacher for English, math, so forth. You get where I'm going, right? So anyway, I had these girls, again, Norma, two Normas, and then this Nancy. And we had these trapper keepers. And these trapper keepers, we could put pictures in. And so with the trapper keepers, I got to put my favorite wrestler at the time was Gino Hernandez, and his manager at the time and valet was Nicola Roberts. So, and then I had that on one side, and then they were all like, oh, well, the Nancy's were like, you'll never get to meet them. You'll never get to meet them, because look at that. That's just a cutout from a magazine. But look at my trapper keeper. Look at that. These are real pictures. These are real photographs. These are real photographs of people. At least mine are filled with real people. That's just your imagination gone wild. Just like you. And people like you'll never get to meet anybody. That's what I said. That's exactly what they said. People like me. What do they mean by that? People like me. And so again, here it is, junior high school. And my mom's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing wrong, Mom. Nothing's wrong. So they would call me. They got and stupid me would take the phone call. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. And then they pretend to be nice again. And then again, they would say, you're good for nothing. You're not going to, you're going to end up being a nobody. You're not going to end up with you're nothing. You're not going to amount to anything. And look at you again with your trapper keeper. Again, they would say that to me again. But what was I supposed to do? And so, they wanted to fight me. And I'm like, I'm not fighting you. Just leave me alone. I'm just going to be left alone. Even if I have to be a loner, that's fine with me. I don't care. So I concentrated on my choir classes. I concentrated on my electives, which would be cooking and typing, but they didn't have typing yet. So they took that out. So it was choir and anything else that I could do, electives. And then so I met some other great girls there. So I started focusing on them. But then, of course, I had to deal with my dang bullies. And it was just hard for me in junior high school because here comes more of the peer pressure. And then, of course, here comes the boys. Here come, oh, I want to meet you. I want to meet you. And there was this one boy that said, oh, I want to meet you. Let's go to class. I'll walk you. And I'm like, okay, but I don't really know who you are. But all right, you'll walk with me. And I don't know if he was just doing it because he was told to come and meet me or come to say, okay, I want to meet you, but I'm just going to do it because he was paid to do it or something. I'm not really sure because I found out that he was also walking this other girl named Angie to class. But luckily, she and I had the sense to find out that he was doing that. So she and I were in the restroom and we found out that it was his name. Same guy named Pete. So we decided, oh, Pete, huh? So we figured it out. It's the same guy. So, it was recess time for lunch. So she and I walked arm in arm, like this. And we're like, we know where he's at. Let's go. And so he was around his friends. And this guy's a jock. So as soon as he saw us coming, he's like, oh my God. Oh yeah. He did not know what hit him. So that I got revenge for that one. That one I felt good about. I went home and I looked at myself and I said, I can do this. I can do this. But I still got bullies that I have to deal with. Female bullies. I just don't know how I'm going to handle those. I don't know how I'm going to handle those. I really don't. But as you can see that we have a logo here says, be a buddy, not a bully. I want everybody to concentrate on that because you can be a buddy and not a bully. And as I'm telling this story, if you're a bully, please note that this can hurt somebody, just like it's hurt me after being an adult. Okay? This has hurt me up to be an adult. I'm sorry, but this is just so hard for me right now as an adult, as it was, because everything that's going on with kids these days, what they're doing to themselves, I never thought of doing as a kid. But what they're doing to themselves now is harmful. Some of them are committing suicide. Some of them are hurting others. Some of them are hurting the bullies, which I don't think, I don't recommend, but you don't do that. You reach out to someone, please. If you're thinking about hurting yourself, don't. Please reach out to someone. Don't hurt yourself, please. Because I never thought of hurting myself. I always reached out to someone. I always did. And, so that's what I always did. And then of course in my junior in my middle school year, I also got to go to a Sylvia concert. And my dad always took us anywhere we would want to go. And so she autographed a picture for me. And so her name is Sylvia Kirby now. She's a country singer. And so I put that in the back of my trapper keeper. And again, same thing, those same damn girls. Again, oh, you'll never meet her, blah, 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 again. And they took that notebook from me, but luckily I had a real good friend of mine that took that from them, that they almost destroyed that. And I thank them for that. Thank you, David, for doing that for me. I really appreciate you doing that, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't still have those. They'd be destroyed by now. And I want to say thank you to Mad Dog. Because of him, I got to shut those damn bullies up and got to meet Nicola Roberts. I got to interview her here on this podcast. And I got to meet Sylvia. And I got to interview her. So you, Nancy, and the two Normas, you can get your trapper keepers and stick them up your you know what. But that still doesn't lead me to high school, because high school is more different. And I just think of these girls that have killed themselves by suicide because they're 12, 13 years old, and they are just barely starting their life. And we have these bullies at the junior high age or middle school age that are starting their bullying and that part of it, that are brand new. Because when you go to elementary school and then you start middle school, you're going to meet new people. And of course, here come the bullies. But let's get into that a little bit. In a little bit, let's do this commercial break.
Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we.
We're back. Sorry about that. I left my name up there by accident. That was that was Mad Dog's favorite commercial, by the way, not mine. But anyway, sorry, I had to get a little bit cleaned up as well, because this is a little bit very passionate to me right now, what we're talking about. As far as going back to the bullying, before I go into the high school, I want to address the bullies out there. Bullies, let me tell you something. You might think that you are, because school's about to start, and I wanted to do this show before school started. You see where it says be a buddy, not a bully? I want you to think about that. Be a buddy, not a bully. Because if you're a buddy and not a bully, you'll go far in life. You'll go far in high school. Because let me tell you something. What if it was your best friend or your brother or your sister or cousin or somebody very close to you that was being bullied? And all of a sudden, without a warning, without notice, boom, they're not here because they decided to end their life without telling you what happened, without telling you anything. Think about that. What if it was someone that you were related to, that you felt so strong connection to, but they didn't tell you what was going on? What about that? Or later on in life, when you become an adult, and then you're like, man, I was a bully to that person. I can't believe I was such a horrible person to that girl or to that guy. And look at them now. They're either homeless, or they are struggling with this, or they're struggling with addiction, or they're struggling because they're battered and being abused. And you don't know what they're going through at home is right now. And look at the way you're treating them. You could be their buddy and help them out with a situation. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but yet you're adding fuel to the fire, being their bully. What if you could help them out in a situation you could have prevented? But no, you decided to be a bully. What about that? What about that? At all cost, you should be a buddy, not a bully. Because like I said, what if it's someone that's very close to you? Or what if it's you one day that gets bullied by somebody worse than what you are? What if it's you? That's not going to feel good, is it? It's not going to feel like, oh my gosh, somebody's bullying me. Well, guess what? What goes around comes around, buddy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What goes around comes around. And then in high school, when you meet somebody different, you meet a whole group of people that are different. Whole group of people that are different. Because again, I was in choir again, and also for the cooking, and then I had some kind of a law class, and then I got to go to the office and go get folders from the certain sections, because we all had certain sections and everything like that. And I had a lot more friends that I could go to, because I met more jocks. I met more other girls that I could hang around with, and of course the little Nancy girls, the Nancy girls and the normals were over with, but there was another set of bullies. These other ones were Hispanic girls, because as I, got older, I was developing more, and as we all do, us girls do. But again, there was still the blonde girls with the blue eyes that the guys wanted, of course, the jocks wanted, or the Hispanic, the cholos guys, the Mexican guy wanted. It's all the same. They had to be a certain way, and the girls are like, again, they're not gonna want you. Look at you. You're not built this way, or you're not built that way, or you need to stay away from our guys. And I'm like, I ain't even near your guys. What are you talking about? We're just friends. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I just talked to them because we're in different classes again. And I had a girl named Annabelle. She was one of those cholas, as they call it, because she would wear the headband thing, from a different, not really in a gang, but she knew some people. And she said that if they messed with me, they would mess with her. So I was kind of like, not really protected in a way, but protected. And then, of course, we had my choir people, So I had a different set of friends, and we would go out and do things on certain weekends, but it was just like knowing who to hang out with and what to say and what not to say. And then choir class, of course, you still had your jealous people, because we had a mixture of guys and girls, and then certain girls like certain guys, and then they would put me to sing with the guys a certain songs, and they're like, oh, well, look at her. She gets to sing with the boys a certain song. I said, look, I can't help it that my voice gets to sing a certain way. I can't help that. It's the choir teacher. She gets to put me there with them for the song. And they're like, oh, well, look at that. I couldn't help that. I said, if you have somebody to blame, go blame the teacher, not me. And again, there goes the jealousy again. There goes all this. And I'm like, look, there's nothing for me to deal with that, not me. So I had to deal with that in a way. So eventually I did choir for the 2 years that I was there, because it was 10th, 11th, and 12th. My senior year, I said, I'm not doing this. I'm getting out of it. I'm done. Again, at that age, the fights or anything like that, I brought my mommy. I don't care. I wasn't ashamed. I brought my mama. My mama would go up to the school and say, so-and-so's bother my daughter. And she's good, she handled it for me. I wasn't scared to bring my mama. Or like, oh, you brought your... Yeah, I brought my mommy. My mama's going to help me handle this. Because again, like I said, there was no such thing as wanting to harm myself or anything like that. Like it is now. Back then, you didn't think about things like that. You thought of getting somebody to help you. And if you feel like you're wanting to hurt yourself, or if you know of somebody that's been bullied and you think they're wanting to hurt themselves, please reach out to us here at whatsthebuzz@gmail.com. We'll be able to help you get the resources to have somebody help them. Or if it's you, please reach out to me. whatsthebuzz@gmail.com. I'll be able to have resources for somebody to help you. And this year when school starts, please reach out to your guidance counselor. Reach out to a teacher. Reach out to someone, your principal, assistant principal. If you have deans for that school, because we had deans for the certain grades, please reach out to them to have somebody help you. Because there's always going to be somebody to help you. You don't have to end your life for that. You don't. And then also, back in school, it got to the point where I had to have teachers walk me back to the office because, as I said, remember I worked in the office and I had to collect folders for the classes, for the marking the absent or tardies or anything like that. It got to the point where this one girl wanted to fight me so bad that I had to have a teacher walk me back to the office because I didn't know where she was going to come through or lurk through, because you would have to have, passes to go to the restroom. I didn't know where she was going to come through or anything like that. That was her time. When it was my time for the office, she had a class. And I wasn't going to do anything like that. And where she was at, there was nobody around. It was all empty. I don't know if she would have had a knife, ice pick, or what back then. Yeah, I feared for my life. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't. So that's something you got to look out for too. Look everywhere around you. Look at your surroundings. And see, back then we didn't have cell phones like you do now. You didn't. We did not have anything like that. We only had, what we had was the resources with teachers or adults. But you have a lot. You have cell phones, you have teachers, you have your parents, you have peers that you could trust. Hopefully that you could trust peers. But find somebody that you can trust. Please, because I don't want anything to happen to any of you that's happened to all these other kids, that they feel that they don't have anybody. Because I know you do. And the saddest part is that you're going to have somebody miss you if you feel like you don't have anything left. Because this right here, find somebody, or you be that buddy. Okay? You be that buddy, not the bully. And if you are the bully, change, please. Don't be the bully. Stop it. Stop it. There's other things better than to be a damn bully. Think about it. School's about to start. Do something besides being a bully. Because there's other things in life. Focus on that. You see a kid on the bus that's sitting by themselves or being made fun of, and you've been a bully all your life. Stop it. Stop. Don't antagonize it. Don't antagonize it, because you don't know what that kid's going through. You don't know what is going on at home. You don't. I've always been the one that I see a person sitting by themselves or the new person, I always walk up to them and say, "Hi, I'm Amelia. It's nice to meet you." Or, "Hi, is everything okay? Is there anything that I can help you with?" It's been me all the time. Always. I've always been the buddy. Always. Even if I've been bullied by somebody else, I've always been the buddy. Or if I see somebody else being bullied, I've reached out to that person. Is there anything else I can help you with? Or is there anything I can do? And they're like, "But you're being bullied too." Say, "I know I've been bullied too, but I can help you. What can I help you with? Let's see what we can do together to stop that bully. Let's see what we can do together." And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because they're too scared to reach out because they don't know what's going to happen to them because they're too scared. They are. And my daughter, she was even bullied at school here. But my daughter, she's the opposite of me. She is. She'll get suspended before she does anything else. She's the opposite of me. Trust me. But that's my daughter. But they have cell phones now, of course. But and you know what's so funny? It's not funny, haha, but it's funny that the bullying doesn't stop as children. It doesn't. Think about it. Because with your children, where did they get that from? Probably the parents. Because if the kids are are the bullies, well, more than likely they got it from their parents. Because the parents are the bullies, and that's where it should start, is at home. So if your child is being bullied, look at the parents. Go to the school. If you're the parent and your child's being bullied, go to the school and tell them, say, "My child's being bullied. I want to stop now. I want a meeting with the parent." And if the parent starts, then you know what? You have every right to put your finger in the parent's face and say, "Look, I want this stop now before anything happens to your child." Get it started. Because I've had to a few times with my daughter because she was the one being bullied, and I wasn't gonna put up with it. And my son was being bullied as well at school by a substitute teacher. And let me tell you something, I did not put up with it because I was being bullied, but this was by a teacher. And let me tell you something, I did not put up with it. And sometimes the worst part is if you're bullied as an adult. Yeah, it does not stop. I was at a job. I'm gonna say it was I'll tell you the first name, Premier. I was there for 4.5 years. I was fine in my own little corner for a very long time. Nobody bothered me. I didn't bother them. Went in, did my job, went home. Did great. And then they changed managers. The manager decided, "Oh, Amelia, you should speak Spanish, do this and that." I don't want to. I have every right not to speak Spanish if I don't want to. I could do my calls in English, go home, done. Next day, same thing. And it seemed like I could hear her talk in Spanish with the other girl says, "Oh, about Amelia in the corner, blah, blah." She forgot that I could understand what she was saying. She'd nitpick every little call that I had. But when she got the power, she moved me from my comfortable little corner to right there in the front. So as soon as you walk in, boom, there I am. To see my every little move, to catch me on something, to see if she could find something to nitpick at me about, to write me up or get me in trouble or do this. Or she listened to every single one of my calls. "You did this, you did that," to get me into, you know, a little like, okay, you're going to written up for this or you're going to get written up for that. That's what she tried to do. Every little thing. It got to where I was on a written and do this and that. And then she would, before she even became a boss, it was just nice and dandy. But then, okay, now I'm back to where this is. But it got to the point where I would come home, just come to the bathroom and again in the mirror, start crying again and saying, what in the world did I do to this woman? Why is she bullying me? Why is she being this way to me? Why? Why is she nitpicking every little thing that I'm doing? Is she jealous because I get compliment calls all the time? Is she jealous of me? What's going on? What did I do to this woman to deserve this? I was there for 4.5 years, almost 5, to where I would get like a good bonus or something like that. It got to the point where I would just go, okay, God help me make it through the day before I open that door. And as I sat down, get ready to clock in, I would just cringe as soon as the phone rang for me to answer it because I didn't know what kind of call that was going to get. I didn't know what I was going to do. But before I finish the rest of the story, let me go ahead and let Shopify talk to you.
Jess wanted to start a business when something surprising happened.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to crochet.
She started crocheting, like a lot. And her friends noticed.
Jess, you need to sell those.
So she signed up for Shopify and started building her business.
Yes, I love that.
And after a lot of hard work, this happened.
Oh my gosh, I just made my first sale!
You see, every day, hundreds of businesses get their first sale on Shopify.
We got a ding!
And the next could be you. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life
And become your own boss.
build it on Shopify.
Hello, and we are back. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, okay, she would, as the first phone call that would come to my phone at Premiere, I would just cringe. I'm like, okay, what kind of call am I going to get? Am I going to be called in as soon as this first phone call comes in? But luckily, she wouldn't come in till like an hour or so later, but still. And a few days would go by, and as soon as she'd come in, she'd be like looking and seeing what I was doing, just like this, hover over the trainer's desk and see. And then she would be a bully to other people. Like, there was like, okay, where's the nurse that we could ask questions to? We would ask. So, she would say, the hippo. And we're like, what? What did you just call her? And she was the one that was overweight, and the girl that we were asking for was skinny. She goes, oh, you mean the hippo? She's not here today, or she'll be running in late. And my supervisor was stuffing her face the whole time she was saying this. I'm like, really? And then there would be times where my supervisor and her supervisor over her would go to the office, and they would buy food like crazy, like for maybe 3 or 4 people, and just spread it out over the desk and not even tell us about it or anything like that. Or they would make food just for themselves, or cut watermelon, and they're like, oh, we have leftover watermelon if y'all want some. Yeah, we'd get the leftovers. That's how they would treat us, like slaves or anything like that, leftovers. And we're like, we don't want them, but thank you, I guess. And come to find out, I wasn't the only one that was bullied, because I asked 2 people that had just left there, oh, you finally left that hell place? And they're like, yes, I escaped so-and-so month. And they would tell me. And I was like, oh, so I'm so glad that you escaped that place. And they were like, yeah, we escaped. And that's how they told me they escaped. That was their words, not mine. They escaped. As I told them, I asked them, oh, you left? They said, no, we escaped. And they were there maybe 2 years after me. So they were going to celebrate almost their 4 years there. But they escaped. And you see what it was about that? She was being a bully to them, not just to me. So she's the big bully. And I went to go search for a job, and I have one now. Thank you for 3 months later, but there was like 3 or 4 openings now for that call center there. If you would believe that. Yeah. I mean, see, it's not like you're going to just be a bully as a kid. You're bullied as an adult. So it depends who the bully is. But you don't have to be surrounded by bullies. Tell someone. Just like I did. Don't be scared to tell somebody that you're being bullied. Please. Don't harm yourself if you're being bullied. Tell someone. Don't be scared. Please. Don't be scared. That's my point for today. And you bullies out there, be a buddy, not a bully, okay? Please. Please. That's all I'm asking. Be a buddy, not a bully. That's our slogan. Myself and Mad Dog would tell you that. We've been telling you that. So, with today's lesson, I hope that this helps parents out there of my story of what I went through. And I hope your children don't go through and all these stories that you're hearing on all these other social media platforms of all these kids that are harming themselves or have committed suicide because of the fact that they're being bullied. Don't let that happen to your children, please. Please make sure that you're watching out and you're listening for any sign of bullying. Please, because the school's about to start. Some schools have already probably started in your area, but please make sure that you are listening very closely to your children. Or as an adult, please make sure that you are listening very, very closely to anyone that's around you, your surroundings. And if there's any people like me, remember, you are special. You are you. You are loved. Okay? You don't have to be someone that's blonde, blue-eyed, green-eyed, whatever, with a perfect body. You may have had it as a younger days, or if you have it now and you don't think you're pretty, being a different hair color or anything like that. You're beautiful, no matter what you look like. Okay? And I tell you what, if you don't meet your hero, your idol, even if you go to their concert or whatever, at least you went to it. But if you're lucky enough to meet your idol, then you did. Then you did. But if you do have any addictions or anything like that that you have gone through or anything like that, I'm gonna show some a helpline that can help you. Like if you're addicted to alcohol, drugs, anything like that. Before we end the show tonight, I'm gonna play some, show you some numbers that you can call. Or again, if you need any help, what's the buzz podcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a special guest, amputee Stephanie Dudley. She's going to come back as a returning guest. We're going to talk to her again on what she's been up to since our first visit that she had with us. And at 7 p.m. Eastern time here on What's the Buzz podcast, WWTF Radio, What's the Buzz. And Wednesday night, we have the boys back on That's Bullshit. We have Rico Style, and we have Steven Stretch Kokowski come back. We're going to be discussing anything and everything, probably politics. You never know what was going to be up with those two. So joining us tomorrow, again, Stephanie and myself, and I'll see you tomorrow. And again, here's those numbers. And Angelo, you enjoy your vacation, Mad Dog, and don't have too much fun and don't get too burnt, okay? See you tomorrow night.